The first thing I noticed wasn't the silence. It was the hum, a low electric hum coming from somewhere deep in the building, like a television left on in a room you can't quite find. I didn't believe in haunted places. Not really. Old houses, abandoned factories, empty malls, they were just that. Empty. No spirits, no demons, just concrete and rust and the slow collapse of forgotten things. But I believed in good footage, and when you're a freelance videographer scraping by on side gigs, you take what you can get. The job came through email from a construction firm in rural Pennsylvania. They were prepping to demolish a government office building that had been sealed since the mid-90s. Document the interior, the email said. Full walkthrough. Use your own gear. Deliver raw footage by Friday. Easy money. I arrived just after dawn. The building sat at the edge of a tree line. A squat gray block of concrete and black windows. A chain-link fence surrounded the lot, sagging in places, with faded signs reading U.S. property, no trespassing. No sign of life anywhere. Even the birds avoided the place. I parked near the gate, grabbed my shoulder rig and stepped out. The air was heavy, unnervingly still, as if the whole lot was holding its breath. The padlock on the gate hung loose, already cut. Someone from the demo crew, maybe. Inside, weeds had split the asphalt into veins. The front glass doors were grimy and cracked. One hung ajar, pried open just enough for me to slip through. The air inside was worse, thick, stale, metallic. It smelled like wet paper and old electronics. I powered up my rig. The faint whir of tape reassured me. Interior walkthrough, I said, my voice low. Day 1. East entrance. The lobby stretched ahead, empty. The tiles were scuffed and cracked, with old footprints frozen in dust. A row of metal detectors stood like sentries, their once chrome frames dulled to gray. Pamphlets littered the floor, their ink smeared into blurry stains. I panned my camera, capturing wide shots, close-ups, every angle. That's when I noticed the hum. Low, steady, like a television left on in another room. I can't explain why, but it felt personal. Not just a sound, but a presence, vibrating through the floor, through my ribs, settling somewhere deep in my chest. I told myself it was just machinery, maybe an old generator humming in the basement, but deep down I knew better. It wasn't just noise. It was something waiting. I froze, glancing at my rig. No interference. I powered it down for a second. The hum stayed. Probably a transformer, I muttered, though I didn't quite believe it. The corridor ahead was darker. I clipped a small LED light to my rig and stepped forward. The hum grew louder. The deeper I went, the more the building felt wrong. Hallways that should have been short stretched longer than they looked from outside. My flashlight beam skimmed peeling paint. Water-stained tiles and the occasional broken desk. Doors with no signs lined both sides, all locked. I kept recording, narrating under my breath. Anything to keep the silence from pressing too hard. West Wing, I said softly. Offices appear intact. No evidence of vandalism. The hum shifted. I stopped, breath caught in my throat. It wasn't louder exactly, just closer. Like the sound had moved, crawling along the walls, following me. I tried a door at the end of the hall. It opened with a groan, revealing a small office. Filing cabinets slumped in one corner. Papers scattered like leaves. The nameplate on the desk read, J. Wells. I filmed everything. Close-ups of the paperwork, the faded memos, the empty coffee mug. One memo in particular caught my eye, Project Echo. Q3 update. But the text below was smudged. The ink bled into nothing. As I zoomed in, the hum surged, sharp and almost angry. Then my audio feed cut out. I tapped the mic, checked my levels, but there was nothing. Just dead silence. I stepped back into the hall, and the feed snapped alive again, along with the hum, now louder than ever. By the second hour, I'd lost my bearings. Every corner looked the same. Every hallway stretched farther than it should. I marked one wall with a piece of chalk, a habit I'd picked up filming old tunnels. And 15 minutes later, I passed the exact same mark again. Jesus, I whispered. I'm looping. I should have turned back then. Packed up, found the exit, and called the client to tell them to hire someone else. But I didn't. Because the deeper I went, the more I felt watched. Not threatened. Not at first. Just observed. A shadow flickered at the far end of a corridor. My camera didn't catch it. In another room, the static of an old intercom crackled, a single word breaking through before cutting to silence. Return. My hand shook as I filmed. Sweat dripped down my back despite the chill. Then I found the stairwell. The sign read, B-level access, authorized personnel only. The hum was a roar now. My chest vibrated with it. I don't know why I went down those stairs. Maybe curiosity. Maybe something else, something that wanted me to. The basement level was colder, darker. My LED light barely cut through the black. Rows of filing cabinets lined the walls, drawers hanging open like gaping mouths. It felt older down there, like I'd stepped back decades. The air carried a damp, coppery tang, and my light picked up details that didn't belong. Deep scratches in the concrete floor, stains trailing along the walls, and a child's shoe lying by itself in the corner, its laces neatly tied. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but my feet kept moving, steady and slow, like I wasn't in control anymore. I filmed everything. That's when I found the tapes. Cardboard boxes neatly stacked, each labeled with dates from 1995 and 1996. Some were marked with words I didn't understand. Loop echo return. I picked one up, brushing dust away. The label read, Field Log, 07/14/1996, Subject 3. My stomach flipped. The handwriting looked exactly like mine. I don't remember dropping the tape, but I must have, because the next thing I knew it was on the floor, cracked open, black ribbon spilling out like entrails. The hum spiked. And then I heard it. My own voice. Not from the stairwell, not from behind me, but everywhere. Bleeding from the walls, the ceiling, even the floor. Return. You never left. I stumbled back, shaking my head. No, that's not me. That's not me. My camera feed glitched. The timestamp jumped. July 14th, 1996. And the footage showed me, standing in that same basement, eyes wide, mouth slack, whispering into the lens. They're still here. I can't get out. My flashlight flickered and died. In the black, the hum became deafening. It wasn't a single sound anymore, but thousands of overlapping voices, all whispering the same word in perfect unison. Return. I ran. Or thought I did. My legs pumped, breath tearing in my throat, but the hallways bent and twisted, folding back on themselves. Every door I slammed through led to another corridor, another stairwell, another dead end. I screamed until my voice broke. At some point I burst into what looked like the lobby again. The front doors glowed faintly in the distance. I sprinted toward them, heart hammering, tears blurring my vision. I hit the doors shoulder first and fell straight into another hallway. This one was pristine. Fresh paint, lights humming overhead, desks neatly arranged. A single CRT monitor sat in the middle of the floor, its screen alive with static. Then an image formed. Me. Not from the camera's perspective. Not a recording. Just me standing exactly where I stood, staring down at the monitor. The figure on the screen tilted its head, slowly, deliberately, then it smiled. The hum quieted. I don't remember what happened next. When I woke up, I was in my car, parked outside the fence. The sun was high. My gear was on the passenger seat. I checked my footage. 9 hours of tape, most of it static. The parts that weren't don't make sense. My voice repeating the same phrase over and over. I never left. I never left. I never left. I tried to scrub through the audio to find a frame, a clue, but all I found were moments where someone else spoke in my voice. And when I listen to those sections now, when I really listen, I can hear something else buried deep beneath the static. Another voice. It sounds like me, and it's getting louder. Every night since that day, I've heard the hum in my sleep, faint at first, like it's bleeding through the edges of a dream. But lately it's closer, sharper, crawling under my skin. I smashed the tapes, burned the hard drives. None of it mattered. The files are still there somehow, not on my computer, but in it. Every time I power it on, the screen glitches, and for just a second I see myself. That same tilted head, that same smile. I don't think I ever really left that building. I think I brought it with me. If you're watching this, if you hear the hum, don't go looking for it. Don't step inside. Because once you do, you never leave. If you felt the hum too, hit like so I know I'm not alone. Share this story with someone who thinks they'd be brave enough to go inside. And if you've ever heard that sound, tell me your story in the comments. Subscribe, but only if you're ready to hear what's coming next.